sun is shining, and hello. Another intro for another episode of StartUp Rant, where we're gonna rant with Mirna about 3D printing. 3D printing is actually older than people think, but a few years back there were kind of controversies about what can you print. Even people would say, you would never print a car, and they were talking about downloading movies. As I'm a movie buff, sometimes, and as I worked in the video store, we will have people who would like rent lots of DVDs, and we knew what they're doing, and you cannot do anything with it. So the problem with the 3D printing was also that people were thinking like, oh, now you can print, Lego bricks. You don't have to buy one, or that you can print a chair, so to have no use of buying one. Technology, licensing, legal stuff. It's already hard to navigate all that kind of stuff. In the 3D printing, it's also interesting because right now the whole industry is so big that you even have houses being printed. There is even a car printed. And that controversy a few years back was also that somebody printed a gun, and they posted that online. You could just download the schematics and on your home printer print a gun. Now, I mention all this kind of crazy stuff because I want to get to the good stuff right now, because how can we benefit? How can we help humankind with 3D printing? Well, Mirna is going to tell you a few pointers, few things, because she and her team, she's part of the team, and her CEO and the guys who founded the company, they are actually building the 3D printer that can print something for the medical purposes in the dental department, and also in the department, well, it's not the structural stuff that help people with limbs that they don't have. It's actually, when you look at when you lose a limb or something like that, you have that. You can have titanium and whatnot, leg, but that's just a rod, and they can actually provide you with a printing of something beautiful. Well, you know what? Just listen to the episode. Follow the links that we're gonna share about this company, and of course follow the links for the Startup Rant. And I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I have, because I like 3D printing. I think that's kind of gonna be a future for a lot of things in the in a kind of production. So, Startup Rant episode coming about, and printing layer by layer now. And I like to start recording in progress, and a whole TV show, actually video cast show, with people smiling. Hi Mirna, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
You're just fine.
Just fine for today. I don't
Well,
want to
what can we
exaggerate.
do to make your life better? Can we print out some teeth? To make a
No.
bigger smile, like in those kind of cartoons with Wally E. Coyote and whatnot, and they're like, there's somebody like doing something, and they're like, oh, here you go, like.
That would be cool, but teeth are already complicating my life enough, so.
How they are complicating your life? How can they complicate life? It's like you're chewing food. How can that complicate life? That's actually easing your life. Imagine you have no teeth and you have to eat watermelon. That's actually easy because the 90% of watermelon is water. But steak, let's just go with the steak. How can you eat a steak without teeth?
That's true. These are really useful, but when you build 3D printers for stomatology and orthodontic use, you're like pretty bored with teeth already.
Well, it's not kind of a sexy subject unless you go in different ways. But you said you build teeth. No, you build printers. No, what are you doing there? That's so boring. I don't know. When I go to the dentist, it's like, well, lots of scared and scared, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go there. And when I go there and they do their thing, and I'm like relief and everything is done, and happily I haven't got any major, a little major, but not major stuff done there, up there in the middle of there. But you're doing something there with your company, with your printers. Like, what are you doing there?
I like your intro.
Everybody
Well,
likes my intro because I'm like ranting all the time, hence the name of the startup rant. So,
well, I work for a 3D tech company here in Zagreb, and we build 3D printers for orthodontic use, mainly for printing clear aligners, something like Invisalign. Probably you heard about that. That's like short.
yeah, that's really short. Like, that's like so short that I would say that there is no more than 32 teeth in my mouth right now. So, do you do like full dental? Like, how do you do that? Do they? No, you're actually building the 3D printer that's can be deployed to the um, stomatologist, dermat- like
Yes.
dentist. So they don't need to have like they don't need have. Wow, this is interesting because right now, what dentists have to do is when they're doing something for a person, right? They need to take scan or sample of a, let's say, a footprint or a fingerprint, of mouth print, a teeth print, wow, of the mouth, and send that to the people who are doing this in the gyps. I mean, like in kind of a molding, right? If I'm
Yes. Yes. Of
But
course.
right now, with your technology, with your 3D printers, you can actually do that on the fly. On the fly. You can actually do that customized, and I guess
Yeah. You.
it's a little bit more cheaper to do that, to actually use your product.
Well, yes, what you described is the old school way of doing stuff in your mouth. And stomatology just got into a new phase of big digitalization. Everything going around teeth now is digitalized, and you use 3D scanners for scanning your mouth situation. And you use 3D printers for making your teeth and then doing some job before you actually do it in your mouth. So it is cheaper for dentists and it is more comfortable for patients. So those are two big differences comparing to traditional stomatology.
Oh, this is huge. And actually, I have here something that you use as a promo as well. And this is your teeth. Right.
Yeah,
Is this your teeth?
that's actually no, that's not my teeth because as you can see, it was a pretty bad situation in those mouths. But yes, mainly what we do is, I mean, our printer can do a lot of stuff, but what is our core business and what is the niche we found the most lucrative is printing those teeth, and then orthodontics put it in few phases. And then on each of those phases, they put like thermoforming, how do you say it, foil, and
Okay.
that is wears every 2 weeks and changes it. And on pretty simple and elegant and invisible way, it changes their teeth into more beautiful smile than they had before.
And that's what I like about 3D printing or something like that. You can really quickly change something or adjust something. And that niche, it's really interesting. And we talked before we started recording how you actually came about to the 3D tech company and how to do that. But that niche is really interesting. Can you explain, not from your perspective, not just yet, but from the perspective of the company, how the founders, how the company actually found themselves in this kind of a space?
Well, our CEO, Luka Biondic, used to work for some other 3D printing company. I won't name it. And there he he got insight in the 3D printing market and what's happening out there. And he realized that there is no quality 3D printer in dental, and they are still pretty expensive. So, for example, you buy a 3D printer for, I don't know, 40,000 euros, and on his second or third print, he's not working. And the support is in, I don't know, Japan. So what do? You know, you're in a bad situation if you have to produce some
Konnichiwa.
quantity. Yeah, that's a good starter, but it won't solve your problems. So then he packed with Ljubomir, our other CEO. I mean, let's call him CTO or Chief of Research and Development. And there are some like pretty genius guys, and you know how genius always goes with like a bit of crazy. But
No,
in a
no, no.
good
It's eccentric. We are not crazy. We are eccentric, woman. We are
okay,
eccentric
call
here.
it as you call it as you want to call it, but still. So they started tearing those printers. They bought a few printers and they started tearing those apart
Whoa,
and
whoa,
to see
whoa,
what's
whoa, whoa!
going on.
When you say tearing up the printers, and I'm movie buff, so there's a space, actually office space movie. When you say tearing up a printer, that means somebody took a printer, put it on the field, and take a baseball bat and start kicking around it.
Well, similar, but just he didn't take a baseball bat. He just took a part by part
Oh,
off.
okay.
Same,
Okay,
but
he's a
different.
crazy guy. Okay, I'll give you that.
Well, yes, and that resulted with a few patents on our side and new printer as well as on same on our side. And yeah, that's how we got our printer and few patents in it, which hopefully improve what the other printers don't. So
Well, did they? Do you sell this stuff, or they're just like piling up in the backyard of the?
well, we're selling them, and now we're partners with one of the biggest polyclinic in Zagreb, Polyclinic Physiodent, and we're partners with them, and they actually built a brand, Simply Smile, exclusively on 4 or 5 now are printers, easy 3D printers. Let's call them now by name.
Oh, do they
We're
have?
selling them,
They
and
have a
we're
name.
doing work
Excellent.
on them. Thanks.
Cool. Okay, so somebody's using this actually, not just sitting up in the background. But how did you personally, Mirna, came about to this niche of the 3D printing of orthodon la di da di da teeth?
Orthodontic aligners. That's what this.
I said orthodontics la di da di da. I think I was pretty specific.
Well, I personally actually came by accident,
By
and
accident, you have your teeth removed by the. Oh, sorry, your story. Here you go.
no. I didn't have my teeth removed yet. Still, you never
I
know.
like the yet. You always
Have to keep an open mind. Okay.
Yes, of course. You never know, especially with teeth. Okay, so I was actually a dancer and I finished sociology. So I'm not in this technical part like my CEO and CTO are. But I started writing and coordinating projects, working for culture as a former dancer. And I know Ljubomir from some other private engagements, actually through his girlfriend. So we started, he asked me one day, okay, do you want to come and write a project with us? We'll go and get some money. We'll have a project coordinator, sales and marketing, as it usually goes in startups. You work 7 different functions. And I was like, okay,
Really?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you know the drill. So yes, I came and I wrote a project for proof of concept. It was actually a project for 3D printing metal 3D printer, and we got some funds from EU for about a year. Actually, it was a corona time, so it was about a year and a half, and it really helped us because, of course, money helps, always helps. Anybody who says that money is lying because it can buy everything,
Money.
my opinion. So yeah, that's how we got engaged, and that's how I got my position in 3D tech.
But is it all? Is that all the story there is to tell
No.
a story about a dancer in the 3D tech and something that you do also, because we will share some of your beautiful designed web links. Oh, actually, they are designed by the web, but everything that people will find out when they click on the links, they will find out there are also a little thing, cool stuff that you do, not just in the mouth region, but actually below as well.
Well, yeah, there are actually two other niche that our printer came like the best suitable for. One is jewelry, investment casting to be precise. So you do the prototyping of rings in 3D printers and then they mold like gold or silver or stuff like that because our printer is pretty precise. So it's turned out great for that niche as well. And we also did and got one project with here at Grupa, our friends from Zicer here in Zagreb. They and Philip Morris gave us some small grants and mentoring, which we are really grateful on, in printing like covers for prostheses for people who got amputated their lower limbs. And I mean, it's just an aesthetic cover. It has no function except like it's beautiful and cool.
And sometimes that's the function.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I don't want to like rain on everybody parade, but I know that there are people who, they have amputated leg or something, and when they get the best of the best titanium whatnot part, that's now part of their body, right? But they don't feel like connected to it in a way that there is like, this is right now part of me. But what you are providing
Exactly.
with easy, it's beautiful because you can provide something that's to somebody that can say, wow, okay, this is me. I can make it my own, because everybody has the titanium leg, but I have titanium leg with a mesh that's looking like a spider mesh, or it's looking like a flower mesh, or it's looking like a solid rock. I don't care what. I can build on that, and I can build actually my self-esteem on that, because maybe right now I'm not feeling that kind of a forthcoming living and whatnot in the face of the life that I'm challenging myself with.
Yeah. Exactly. You described it pretty well. That was our idea behind the Easy Walk covers, and that's where you can put yourself in it, even though you don't have that part. But we make your like personality come to be more obvious through that part. And it even makes it so cool. It makes you want to lose a leg. Okay, sorry, it was a morbid joke.
Oh, I want to get at that too, but I'm one maybe time in my life. But you know, if it's gonna be cool and nice, maybe I don't want to lose a leg just to put my cover on. But I get your point here because it's beautiful. I saw your
Thank you.
designs and what you can do there with your printer, and that's beautiful because you can ship that printer to anywhere in the world, right? And somebody in Japan,
Yes.
you mentioned Japan, and you can ship that to the USA. And we know that there are lots of people in USA, Germany, or whatnot, and we are part of the NATO and whatnot, and people are going, not just NATO, also the other parts of the world. People are going to dangerous places. Children are affected with the dangerous stuff. Even here in Croatia, we are still country that survived the war, and there are still mines somewhere in the field, and sometimes accidents do happen. And anything that can help those people in any field of their life that they're doing, I think it's beneficial what you're doing right now because it's giving them a little bit control of what they lost.
Thank you. Thank you for realizing that.
Cool. Not cool, but cool that you have that. So is it hard to get funding on this? You mentioned Act Group, and you mentioned some grants. And is it hard to like you present that? Okay, I get for the teeth. You know, there is a lot of people losing teeth all over the place right now, and even Nietzsche lost his teeth, and he had like wood replacement or something like that. But how the funding goes for the little startup in Croatia building, and this is actually hardware. It's not kind of a software like here is go. No, you have a. It's big. It's like a half of wardrobe or something cupboard. I don't know.
Yes.
Big.
Yeah, well, it is big, that's true. And the fundings, well, they go good. We are getting pretty excellent at teaching our 3D printer and fundings and getting some money from European Union or some private fundings. It's okay, but it's always question what to do next. I mean, at some point you have to start your sales seriously because fundings can get you through the beginnings, but afterwards you just need to start sales hard. And it sometimes could be, I wouldn't say problematic, that's a bad word. I would say like challenging because coming from Croatia and having products from Croatia, for example, on German market, they're pretty like suspicious on your product, even though it's the best or better than some German products. They're pretty skeptic, and I understand that. Even I'm sometimes skeptic for a product coming from Croatia. So you have to work really, really hard. So you like get above average, get above other products. You really like you have something different and something that excludes you from the rest of the market. So it could be challenging and it's not hard. You have to really work on it, but it's possible and it's there. It's possible.
Cool. And when you look at that, when you think about Germans and when you think about all those European countries that are like famous for their kind of a precise engineering, do you think we cut close or we are way off in a way? Well, you do provide what you provide, and it's really excellent kind of a product, but do you think we are still like maybe a little bit lax on some stuff like, oh no, it's just gonna work, you know, while in the Germany and Switzerland everything is like
Yes.
you gotta make it like in a second, minute, whatnot.
Well, yes, I think we are some on some points behind some production in Germany, or well, they're just really good. I have to say it's they're that TikTok mindset works pretty well when you're starting a business. And you have to have deadlines, timelines, well-known activities, visions, missions, stuff like that. And we're pretty relaxed on that, like, okay, we can do it, we will make it, no hurry. And sometimes you have to hurry and you have to push yourself so your business goes faster and your plans go, even though if you fail, if you need to fail, you need to fail soon. So we are relaxed and that's cool on some point, but sometimes you just have to work harder. And I don't know, we can just look up to Germans. They can be like an example for us. That's We can work on that. It's not a problem. It's just like some sharpening in some areas you need to do to be better. So yeah, we are a bit back on some things, but I think also that relaxed and easygoing situation can do us a favor and work in our favor in some areas.
Yeah, we probably like can a little bit like pivot, or we can like do a detour or something like that. That's oh, lax. You know,
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna do
then
this
and
and
you
do
are
that.
agile. If something doesn't work as you
Yeah.
planned, okay, we'll do it this way. You're not like, oh my God, problem. What to do now? It's not what we planned, and you're in a big trouble. No, okay, we can do it another way. So that's the good part, being relaxed.
So actually, when you look at it, Croatians are perfect for being a startup nation because we're relaxed, but we're more serious, and we do incredible things like even electric cars that are the fastest cars in the world. So, a technical question, if I may.
Okay, you may.
Filament. Thank you.
Okay.
Filament. It's not the same for, you're not making teeth, you're making the parts for to make a teeth, and filament for that probably is different than using a filament for the cover for the legs, for example. Or
Actually,
maybe it's the same. I don't know.
no,
Is it?
you're speaking well, but we use DLP 3D printers, and we don't use filament. We use a liquid which gets how do you say,
Hardened.
hardened with the UV light. So we use liquid stuff. Filaments are used by other types of 3D printers, but exactly when printing teeth or stuff in dental, are most likely to use biocompatible material expensive in the first place, and tested so it can get in your mouth and in touch with your skin and humans. And I don't know, printing prostheses or covers, you need to use more hardened material. It's not so important if it's biocompatible. It's more important that it doesn't, I don't know, breaks when you hit something and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a range of materials used in 3D printers, especially depending on which 3D printer method, 3D printing method are you using. So material is a whole other topic inside of 3D printers.
Yeah, and when you look at that, it's incredible what right now we have like people sometimes think of like a 3D printer. So I'm just gonna print out the little you know little guy, little guy
Mm-hmm.
here, so I can play Dungeons and Dragons or whatnot, or just to have it sitting on here on the table. Or people are thinking like, I can print this and that for fun. Or even there was controversial thing about 3D printers. Even the guy printed the gun, right? So it's really interesting topic, and especially when you mention like UV light and something like that in the liquid printing area. It's not that common that people hear that. Actually, I think that more common liquid printer are mentioned are actually cement liquid printers that are right now building houses in Spain, I think. But when you look at it in the dentist area, UV light is really important because not just that it's going to harden the filament or the liquid, it's also killing the all the bacteria there. So that's cool. So I just like make this kind of a whole huge talk and ranting about the pandemic. Did it affect you?
In which way do you think did it affect us?
Well, people couldn't go to the dentist. Did you had less requirements from the dental practices to have your printers?
Well, I mean, in Croatia, we found Croatia like a test polygon.
The whole world, the whole world.
Well, we're still in Croatia, so we haven't sold printers beyond Croatia. We are working on that because the rules are a bit more strict. Yet, right thing to say. But still in Croatia, I don't know, like the stomatology college university recognized us and they bought our printer for testing exactly material we're talking about. So we are really recognized here in Croatia, but we're a small area and really like we consider it like test polygon to see how our support works, how our printers work, because it's easily accessible every part of Croatia in one day, and it means the world when you need to go and do some service. But still, worldwide, we need. I mean, I think we need more practice and more clients from Europe or anywhere else, so we can get some upgrades on our printers and on our service and support. I'm not quite sure if that answered your question because I didn't get your question quite well.
No, you
Still,
get
I
it.
answered.
The answer is beautiful because that's the point. I actually asked, did pandemic affect you, and did it did affect in a way, and even when you think about it, to promote your product, you need to go somewhere and show it because it's a little bit, it's hardware. You can not just,
Yeah.
oh, here's the video of our printer. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, it did affect us because if it wasn't for pandemic, we would be already on European market at least.
yeah.
Actually, in the March of 2020, when we planned to go to Malta, to European Aligner Society, that was meant to be our coming to markets on big doors, and it was canceled like 3 days before we planned to send our printer. And it did affect us because for the last 2 years we were stuck in Croatia doing research and development, even though we were finished, but we did some upgrades. And now we would already be on the market and we would probably have some clients already. But yes, so it did affect us and we did lose some money and clients probably here. But still, we managed to do some printing of how do you say, those masks or some venturious
Yeah,
pipes.
that was like the next question I wanted to ask because you were here in Croatia, mentioned in several of media as the first people who jumped on the helping cart. Let's say that, well, actually you were maybe even forefronters of the bedwagon that actually helped to build parts for the medical, if I remembering correctly, staff to have the
Yes.
parts. So please promote yourself.
Yeah, well, if you remember at the beginning of pandemic in Croatia, it was a bit hysterical. People were buying toilet papers. Everything was like, okay,
Yeah,
Lord is coming. So we understood that it's a hysterical situation, and we are already in health business, and we have the machines. So it will be really stupid from us that we like sat home and we were like, okay, waiting for pandemic to pass. So we felt the obligation to jump in even on our expense. So we start making something to help the medical staff. And we did so for a good 6 months or even more. And it helped us to keep the business running at least on the bare minimum, but it helped us running and it helped us business work. So, and we helped a lot of stuff, medical stuff out there. So we did a good job, and it did the good job for us. So
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful. And what I like about that, because I know you personally here as a company and everybody in the company, it was like real like reading about you guys doing that, and I was like, I'm in the software business, and it was like, oh, how can I help? And it was like, I don't know, I can probably go there and ask, do you need somebody to move the boxes? You know, you feel helpless in that kind of a situation, but you like really, you were out there. You were out there.
Yeah, but wait, I have to give a credit for a few other companies in Croatia, even some from Zicer, and we heard a lot of hobbyist 3D printers from home who are also working on some stuff. So actually, yeah, it's a big round of applause for engagement on everyone who had 3D printers. I heard a lot of people privately from business perspective helped and asked if they need if they can do anything with the 3D printer. So
Yeah,
we were not.
I'm
Yeah.
from the movie business, and people will always say like from the pirated pages, or you pirate the movie, you download the movie, and somebody before like 10 years ago, somebody will say you never download the car, and I'm renting a little bit, but actually people now can download the car. But what you guys did and what the enthusiasts did, they not just downloaded, they didn't download the car, they download the specs for helping medical staff around the world and here in Croatia. And that was the beautiful thing to see people at home building something not for themselves, but
Yes.
actually for somebody front and center in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. You're
All right.
good guys. You're building stuff and things like that. You're making money, or you will make serious money in the future. You're gonna conquer the Europe and maybe print out the Europe or whatnot. But do you have any advice for all those little guys and little girls and little people trying to break into the business, not just 3D print business, any business at all? You said you had your experience is not coming from the like running the company or even being a part of the company. You danced your way and swirled around on your ballet shoes or sneakers into the
More or less.
into the 3D printing business. So it's not like you're doing one thing in life and you will never do anything else. But what would be your personal advice? And actually, something coming, and I think it's intervened with what you did in the 3D company. Advice for all the people trying to do something.
Yeah, well, my advice would be don't stop trying. You're probably gonna fail a lot of times, and as I mentioned before, if you're gonna fail soon, so you can get up from that. And everything is possible. I mean, this is 21st century. If you used to work on some other business, let's take dancing for example, and now you're in 3D printing. I mean, everything is possible, and just you need to just work hard, and you know what is your main goal and perspective. What are you aiming at, and what do you want to get out of that business or experience? And everything is helpful and meaningful, and just do it. I mean, this is not a Nike commercial, but it's
Not yet, but if they sponsor your part or parts or even the whole 3D printer, this could be a Nike commercial. But right now, it's not even Yoda commercial or Star Wars commercial or Disney Plus commercial or Disney or Marvel. Just do it. By the way, I may be using this as like a promo for my own StartUp Rant video cast to get some kind of a big brands to promote.
Please do, and you owe me my 5% of that.
We gonna talk terms when I get the money.
Okay, fair enough.
5%. All right, you gave your advice. Cool. Beautiful, beautiful. I just love this kind of, guests that like, embrace the fun of it all, because every day we're struggling so much with our startups and things like that. And sometimes,
Yeah, you have to keep it funny. You have to
yeah,
always, well, look at it like from comic perspective, because I mean it's just like business and startups. I mean, you can always work at McDonald's or something else. You will get your money. Don't worry. Just be brave. I mean, not you, just like the audience who's watching this.
yeah, audience, listen to Mirna. She knows what she's talking about because she's a dancer, and life is how that song goes. Life is not dance something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't put your baby in the corner. I think was Patrick Swayze sentence in one dancing movie, which means actually, don't put your desires, your passion, and everything in the backtrack of your life. Live it, be it, and maybe you will find yourself in a strange little startups that you didn't even thought you will ever be there. Thank you, Mirna.
True. Agreed.
Thank you
Thank
for
you very
being
much.
guest. Bye.
Bye.